All right, movie dopers. It's time for Kingsman 2. Uh, if you listen to the first review, Brad was very sly and tight-lipped about what he thought to uh to keep me anxious about his review. So this is the first literally 2 minutes. Don't fact check that. Literally 2 minutes will be spoiler free. Don't fact check that. And then we'll get into spoilers after it. But just before we get into it, I've seen The Kingsman. It subverted my expectations. I don't think you've seen it, right, Brad?
I have
The
not. No.
prequel. I think you're gonna like it because it has vibes of 1917.
Ooh.
It's not a single shot. It doesn't take place in 2 hours. But Dan Merle pointed out that this was shot before 1917. So 1917 would have felt like The Kingsman if it released how it was supposed to.
And vice versa.
What?
And vice versa.
Oh yeah, if it hadn't had literally 8 different release dates. But what are your thoughts on this, sir?
I would say that this movie is not as good as the first one. There are some things that I like about it and some things that I don't like about it. Um, but I would say it's solid. It's solid.
Nice. I like that because there's so many. Like, I'm first one to be like, this is a messier film, but
Yeah. And there's some things that I know that some facts that you told me while watching the movie and stuff, but so I know there's some characters that are there that shouldn't be there, or vice versa. So yeah, so it's not as clean of a film.
yeah, in the non-spoiler section, I'm comfortable saying this because people go in and I totally go into it knowing this. You'll probably have a better experience. But Channing Tatum originally was going to be in the entire film. Another film schedule messed that up. So they introduced Agent Whiskey. So it is to the film's detriment, obviously, but the original plan was to have Agent Tequila continue and do what Agent Whiskey does in the rest of the film. So
I without saying anything, I would have noticed I was messy, but it wouldn't have been that bad. Um, so
yeah, I think they did the best that they could have with the hand they were dealt.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I think they did a really good job of handling that whole situation.
Yeah,
without spoiling anything. But I think they do a pretty decent job the whole way through.
If they had more of a budget, I would have said the cleaner thing would be just to reshoot what Channing Tatum did with Pedro Pascal, who plays Agent Whiskey. But selfishly, as someone who loves Channing Tatum, I'm just glad we've got Channing Tatum in the universe. And I'm like, you know what? It's messier, but I'd rather have Channing Tatum than not have Channing Tatum.
He does a good job.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm still hoping Channing Tatum becomes Gambit in the MCU. And that was given up long ago as a possibility. I'm just like, oh, we almost had it. But anything else you want to say about the non-spoiler sections?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, I would say it's a solid movie.
Nice. I think this is the closest we're ever going to get to actually 2 minutes. All right.
Don't fact check
that. My rating is mushroom with the drugs because this is
the Molly.
because this is the candy. Like the way I equate it is the first movie was a love letter to Bond with Kingsman candy.
Wow, building its own separate story.
Yeah, and this one is just pure candy with some pathos, or is it bathos? Whatever. It has a heart. But
Bezos, yes,
it
absolutely.
Definitely is a sugar rush of the King's candy. What's your rating before we get into spoilers?
I would say I don't know whether to go like edible joint or joint edible. Like I don't know which way I want to go. If I want to go, I think I should probably go up. I'll go joint edible. So I'll go upwards.
I mean,
I would say it's solid, but it's not, fantastic, but it's at the same time it's not terrible. There's nothing wrong with it.
So I
It's
think
got a huge cast of great people. I would say overall the story is pretty good. Moves
before
everything
you
forward.
lock in your rating, basically the way I would equate it to grade score is edible joint would be like a B minus, and joint edible would be a C plus. If that
We'll,
helps you choose.
we'll go B minus then. We'll go
Okay.
an edible joint. We'll go B minus.
Okay.
I think it's better than a C. So
Cool beans. Well, considering that who is it? Tucker Max almost died by eating an edible with just barely ground weed in it. Wouldn't recommend anyone do and eat an edible joint. You could burst your appendix and almost die. Just
solid life of choices right there.
Yeah, just watch out for doing that in real life. But for a movie, that's pretty good. All right. Now it's spoilers. The first thing I want to say was actually in relation to our last conversation when you were talking about like asking me if it made the U.S. look bad by going to the Kentucky church.
Oh yeah,
Ironically, I think my answer could have been summed up with a line in The Kingsman, which is reputation. Reputation is what people think of you. Character is what you are. And my answer then would have been, I think the U.S. has been, if they were more focused on our character instead of our reputation, our character could have informed our reputation. You know what I mean?
yeah, and said I think that scene kind of goes more hand in hand. Our reputation and our character kind of are subverted by that, and I would say that scene hurts the United States. The look of the United States, one because of our reputation is like that, and two because after everything like that, after something like that would happen in the United States, we'd send our thoughts and prayers, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah. I guess to put it in a medical metaphor, I'd say we probably have a tumor in our body, and we're a little too focused on doing the makeup to make ourselves look healthy, and
Yeah,
not so much with the chemotherapy. We should put a little chemotherapy in there, and then we'll look healthy once we've recovered. But I'll let you lead the way because I've done. If anyone's interested, I'll put a link down below. I've literally broken down this movie minute by minute, so I think total, I've probably talked about this movie for 20 hours just in those episodes.
man, that's crazy.
If every episode was 10
And
minutes.
I've only seen this movie one complete time and a partial time. So yeah, this will be interesting. I would say after watching the first one, I was less surprised about the number of stars in the movie as the first time, where I was super surprised because I didn't really look at the poster, and all of a sudden Samuel L. Jackson just burst into the scene. So I was really thrown off.
Yeah.
Just because such a big budget name, and I didn't know that he was even in that movie. So I was a little less surprised when I started seeing people like Elton John, Jeff Bridges, like when I started seeing all these people in this movie.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum,
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. So I was less taken back, less starstruck, and more like, okay, yeah, solid. I mean, you're cast wise, you're even with the other one, so we're good.
Yeah. Oh, I should mention this now. I learned something today on Reddit. Someone said this is about the last movie, but the cell where Tildy was in, the code in T9 spells out anal.
That's awesome. Because she's kind of a part about this one, kind of not a part of this one. She's definitely in it, obviously. She's Eggsy's girlfriend through this movie, but yeah.
What did you think about her return?
It was needed. I would say because, well,
it served a lot of different functions.
Yes, yeah. So, and it pushes the story through. So it helps out the story. It helps character development. It makes sense why she's there. So I don't have a problem with it. I thought it was good. Having him have an emotional attachment is a plus.
Ooh. That their relationship continuing, and the the backstage pass reference to their anal joke in the last movie makes me want Harry and Elton John to be an item in 3 so fucking much. I swear there's two things I want. I want Roxy to come back from the dead. I've got a whole plot and a spinoff for
Yeah,
her.
that sucked.
And I want Elton John and Harry to be dating. I just want it. I don't care if he's in there for 5 seconds at the beginning and he's like, okay, like, like, bye. I just, ah,
And then Elton
so,
John's like a partial agent. He's like a
dude, that
partial
would be
Merlin.
hilarious if he was the, oh, I don't think people would like this, but if Elton John was the new Merlin,
I
like,
was really kind of surprised. Like I don't know that much about Elton John. I don't think I haven't seen the movie Rocket Man. So I
mm.
was really surprised when he started throwing around F bombs and stuff like that in this movie. I was
uh,
like, whoa, that seems way out of character for Elton John, but I guess I don't know him. I mean, we're not on first name basis, so
yeah, Rocket Man was produced by Marv Studios, Matthew Vaughn's studio, the director. Um, which that might make sense more why Taron Egerton is in it. It was great. And I think I mentioned this in the last review, but there was a documentary of Elton John when he was in his like 20s or 30s, and he was just ripping into people. And yeah, I
yeah,
guess
you
if you
just
had seen that, which I haven't, this would be you'd be like, oh yeah, this is Elton
yeah,
John.
I just in my mind, I just don't see him like that. I see him,
Yeah.
you know, when he met the Queen and stuff like that. Like I see stuff like that. I don't see him dropping F bombs and, you know, bitch slapping people. And I think he threw a couple punches there and towards the end. So I mean, it was just random. But I had a feeling going through chronologically in this movie, I had a feeling that he was going to be in this movie because I realized the two dogs were named Benny and Jet. I was like, that's weird. I was like, Benny and the Jets. That's a Elton John song. I mean, that's kind of ironic, but whatever. Moving on.
Yeah.
And then to have him show up later in the movie, I was like, got it.
There's even one of the 3 papers that are on Eggsy's office wall is Elton Gone. Uh, you know
Yeah.
how Harry used to. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Collect his newspaper articles after the day after a mission, just
yeah.
to prove that he's never in the news. And it's always about some gossip, some, you know, England 5, Germany 1 or whatever.
So starting at the beginning, one thing that like kind of broke my heart when I started breaking them down is I realized the first notes in the movie are part of that John Denver song, Country Roads.
Oh,
Like it's orchestral or whatnot and like changed to match the Kingsman kind of style of the theme, but it
well,
literally starts, I think, with bagpipes.
that
Uh,
makes sense because they kind of pull that theme through the movie
yeah.
to the point where Merlin's singing it at the end.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I could go literally in 1,000 directions. So I'll let you lead this discussion. I've talked too
um,
much about it.
I would say this is definitely a more gritty film compared to the last one, where I was kind of laughing about, you know, the stylistic choices that they chose to when people's heads were blowing off as balloons or whatever, or fireworks, whatever it was, and where this one's a little bit grittier when
Yeah.
it comes to stuff like that. Because the one guy, the guy's friend, has to put him into the grinder right away at the beginning of the movie,
Oh yeah.
and then
I love that scene. It's so gross. I hate like I feel so uncomfortable every time I see that fucking
I'm okay up
red
until
meat.
where I'm okay up until she cooks him a burger and feeds it to him, and he's putting it all together like 1 + 1 = 2. Two's in front of me. Okay.
And I think the song is like singing about misery. And I'm like, oh, oh my God. Just
And one thing I notice is for a machine that is doing the circle, the golden circle that's tattooing it,
mhm.
that is not a circle. That is like the worst drawn circle. I mean, like, give a 3-year old a crayon, tell him to draw a circle, and it's probably just as good as that circle on their chest.
Hey, to be fair, he's probably wriggling a lot. But yeah, that is just miserable. Lasering off the fingerprints and grinding down the teeth is just
It makes you a little squeamish.
yeah.
But yeah, just uh the whole beginning with the chase scene, the cold open with the chase scene was pretty good. I didn't understand why their taxi cars, obviously that's what they drive, but I didn't understand when he was put in this like sports mode why the
Oh yeah,
rims popped off and it was like sport tires underneath that was completely or sport rims.
yeah. I don't know why they pop off, but I know it's what drift mode or something. I think that's pretty cool. Like I like how they use similar to Baby Driver or no, not Baby Driver. Drive with Ryan Gosling.
Gosling, yep.
In that movie, did you see Drive?
I have. It was a long time ago, but yeah, I've seen it.
All right, so for everybody, if you haven't seen it, it opens with him having the most common car in Los Angeles, just, but it's like beefy under the hood, so that he can blend in more easily. And I love that they chose the taxi cabs basically for that same reason. Like people just not not think it's out of place or you know yeah, just being more discreet. But I did like seeing that they had evolutions to
including
it.
including like the hubcap popping off to reveal like drilled out, not out, they're out spokes, but they're like gapped out rims. It's
Yeah,
like okay.
I'm not
And then
going,
like
but
yeah. So that was interesting. And then him jumping into a tunnel full of shit, which was prove. I mean, it again. This goes back to having his girlfriend, proving that it does mean a lot to Eggsy
yeah.
to make this dinner. And it was his birthday dinner, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I love that. Someone complained like that doesn't make any sense. Like it would make more sense. I agree. If it was for the meet the parents dinner or,
Yeah,
it'd be less to poo poo about. But I just
yeah.
love that he considers his friends as important as his relationship. It's just like, yeah, it's a birthday dinner, but why not? Why can't he value his friendships and his commitments to his friends enough to jump into a tunnel of shit? And it does this is what I love about this movie. Nearly everything that happens is doing more than one thing. That him jumping into shit is not wasted. They use it to immediately show us how in love they both are. Him joking and saying one little kiss, and then she's willing to kiss him covered in shit, but he loves her enough that he's not going to actually make her do it. Oh, like you can say, like they of course say I love you and stuff, but just shows it. And I was like, boom, getting mileage out of every moment. Um,
And then what do you think about like the whole missiles hitting every agent?
so I get it. It's they should have a better system to warn them about the missiles beforehand. Um, that's a complaint I've seen. My
But like but it kind of like intentionally like tries to end the plot kind of thing. Like it's several missiles that hit all of the agents
yeah.
conveniently wherever they were at that exact time.
I mean, hey, I would call Poppy a fool if she didn't try to take out the secret agent organization that would be her like greatest enemy to her or adversary to her goals. And as far as that complaint of like they should have been able to catch the missiles earlier, who knows what that arm could have done?
Yeah.
It could have had it could have disabled those and then a redundancy comes back and then that's why it said missile incoming. But I liked that for those reasons, and then also just the timing of it. Like I love how Matthew Vaughn does stuff where at least for his friend Brandon, you're like, oh shit, he's gonna oh thank God he didn't blow himself up. And then as soon as you're comfortable and you think it's over, boom, it happens anyway. I'm like, oh, you sadistic son of a bitch. You played with my emotions. That was the worst roller coaster and whiplash I've been on.
And then it makes you hold on hope for other characters too, because we've kind of grown to really like Roxy through the first movie and through the beginning part of this movie. So you're like, oh, maybe she's not dead. And then later on, they find Harry. Harry comes back. I mean, he's like, he's not dead.
Yeah.
Merlin
I,
didn't die. They're like, all right, I'm holding out hope, but not in this
that,
one at least.
that was the one question I had for you, was if you knew that Harry was back, because the market, like Matthew Vaughn did not want to put that in the marketing, but the marketing department was like, no, it'll be better for the, you know, whatever, getting people in seats. Maybe it was,
I
but
when I watch these movies, I tried not to look at the cover,
yeah.
the digital copy cover, just to try and
Oh,
avoid anything like that. Just like I didn't look at the first one, didn't realize Samuel L. Jackson was on the cover of it.
I never would have thought of that. But yeah, for my money, I mean, Matthew Vaughn in interviews, and I do interviews to an unhealthy degree if I'm obsessed, had said he would need to find some way to bring Harry back, whether in a flashback or back from the dead. So I knew he was going to be back, but if it hadn't been in the trailers, I would have preferred that, because
Yeah, I would have
like,
preferred. I would have preferred not spoiling it. Like that would have been
yeah,
if you haven't seen the end of the Mandalorian, dot 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 spoiler. Um, Luke,
the
Mark
most
Hamill.
awful CGI
Yeah,
things.
the most awful Mark Hamill that you can ever imagine comes through.
I There
But
were
like
so many.
to keep that so tight lipped,
Oh yeah.
would have done this movie some would have done some good.
Yeah. There were a lot of people on Twitter that said they were crying at that moment, and I was like, I would have been right there with you if that CGI wasn't so bad. And then, of course, like 2 days later, some guy on Twitter was like, "This is what my deep fake thing did." And it was mwah, chef's kiss, so much better. And I'm just like, Disney, come on. That's one time with a Star Wars project I will not complain if they redo the CGI later and fix it. Because
And adjust it like they do with all the other movies.
yeah, because the whole time I was like, I want to be crying, but that is
With it,
freaking me out.
I want to be crying with everybody else, but I can't right now.
Yeah.
Just so one of the other like Disney fixes,
Mhm.
in Lilo and Stitch,
Oh
the
yeah, I've
original
seen
movie
that.
is an oven, and then the second movie, or yeah, it was an
Laundry,
oven.
laundry.
Yeah, it was a dryer.
Yeah.
So
So silly,
so they
but
do it
yeah. Uh, all right. So, what did you think of the dinner scene?
hilarious,
Yeah.
hilarious. Because you're at first kind of like confused, like, wait, does he really know about the what was Indian market or whatever it was? And then he answered a second question, like, what the hell? Like, this guy has time to study all this crap, and then like Roxy's in his ear, and then it kind of gets exposed, and
and
it
they
kind
and
of
they
makes you wish.
and they use the language of filmmaking so beautifully, because that in that first question, when like uh Tildy expects him to fail, it just takes this moment, the silent moment, adds a little flourish of music and pushes in as he smirks, and then he answers, and I'm like, one, that works great for that moment, but two, it's really him
Buying his
waiting.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. This brings me to the one thing where I was like, oh, don't do that. When Roxy asked best agent or best friend, and he said both, but winked, me and my date at the time were both like, oh, don't do a love triangle. Don't,
Yeah.
oh, that was too cute. That was like, I would have, if you just digitally changed that from a semicolon to a colon, just made a smile. Chef's kiss, perfect. We were like, oh no, don't, no, that's not what we want. We don't want Roxy and Eggsy together.
We do, but we don't. We do in the right
Yeah,
ways,
yeah,
but not a triangle.
yeah. In my head canon, there's a bomb-proof wardrobe close enough to Roxy that she almost closes it, and then the explosion happens. Half her face gets burned. She like blacks out from the trauma of it, and a all-female secret agency evolved from the suffragettes, and they call this is Kingsman, so they call themselves the bad bitches. Go like like whatever their technology says this has happened. They go find her in the rubble, nurse her back to health. And in a subplot to this movie, they find out that Poppy, if her heart stops, they're everywhere that there's the cure or whatever, the antidote, there's a fail safe that it'll set off bombs in those cities, you know, and they have to deactivate it before the Kingsman agents kill Poppy. And Roxy has been on like a hot and cold decision of whether she's going to return, because it's like, you just left me and
Yeah, I
I
mean
was
that would be
alive. You didn't even
that'd be
check.
interesting. I
And then
mean,
they
I
come
wouldn't put
in
it past Mr. Vaughn, but I mean,
that's my headcanon. That's what I hope. I found out that you can, that on Marv's website they take letters, they take written inquiries only. So I'm just gonna, I'm literally getting stationery and like gold wax beads and a custom Kingsman stamp to be like,
and
hey,
a nice fountain pen.
yeah, I'm literally like, my handwriting is gonna be atrocious, but I'm gonna be like, hey, please don't let the Kingsman's box office dissuade you. Disney really did you guys dirty.
Yeah,
With
I mean,
release
and
schedule.
everything else,
Yeah, and
everything else, I got it.
here's a traced outline of Google Trends of the Kingsman movies, and it is flatlined for the last 4 years. Like the advertising wasn't there. Don't think people's interest has waned enough.
But you put it out the same time as Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah,
if you put that against any Marvel movie, this movie's gonna flatline.
yeah. Let me see, because yesterday
Don't
was
do
like,
it. Don't
what?
do it. I looked a little bit ago. Don't do it.
What am I not gonna do?
I assume you're looking at the box office numbers
Yeah.
for The Kingsman.
Well, the last time it was 4.5 million, so I want to see.
Yeah, don't do it.
No,
16.5.
hey, yesterday it was 4.5. I mean, it's not gonna. I said if it makes 100 million, I'll be shocked. But it just, as far as the site was telling me, it's 4x since yesterday. So I'm happy. I'm happy it's doing something. Um, my whole, if anyone, nobody knows this probably, but my whole goal with doing those Kingsman 2 minutes was, one, to like stick up for Kingsman 2 a little bit, because I think it got shit on a little too ruthlessly, and to hopefully be successful so that I can bring awareness that the Kingsman was coming.
4 years ago.
And like, I've only made like 3 friends online through it, but like, I've talked to like at least a dozen people online who didn't even know a prequel was happening. So it didn't take off like I hoped it would, not for my own like success in that podcast, but literally just like, if we were getting 1,000 listens by the end of that, like I would have gotten an AMC A list, a Regal subscription to unlimited movies, and I would be going there and maxing out my tickets every week for the Kingsman. And hopefully 1,000 other people would. We just go and buy 30 tickets a month, each of us, and it just be like, we're gonna force this to be successful.
So, how many people were in the theater when you saw The Kingsman?
Oh, probably 20.
Okay.
And that was a Tuesday night, 4 p.m. I was surprised.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it was much more comfortable than Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But you know, I was pleasantly surprised that many people were in one theater on the 4 o'clock Tuesday. And I'm not even gonna lie, the fact that it has over 16 million worldwide, I don't know, feels nice. It's a consolation prize no matter what.
Yeah, because you're not going to compete against Spider-Man. So
no, we're not. Like,
and
I
what
said,
there's another movie out there, isn't there? Isn't there another movie out right now?
The Matrix Resurrections, but that bombed and it's on HBO Max. So
It bombed because it's on HBO Max.
it probably would have bombed no matter what.
Yeah.
That movie's kind of the action scenes at least are pretty messy.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, I only tell people that it's messy because I was just wishing for 3 solid kung fu hits before the next cut, and I don't think I got it once. And you go back to even like the worst action scene or most boring action scenes, relatively speaking, of the first 3, and it's gorgeous. and they took their time, and they were, it's a
Do
work of
you,
art no matter what.
do you think it's like a Wachowski problem? Do you think it's like a Keanu Reeves just getting old problem? Do you think it was just
No, he's been doing John Wick.
yeah?
He's Gucci. I think it's I saw an article headline today that said Warner Brothers was going to do Matrix 4 with or without the original director. There's a lot of meta commentary in the beginning that's literally like, I mean, they were going to do a Morpheus prequel. The script was written by Zach Penn, the original screenwriter for Avengers 1. Like, this was going to happen.
Just whether or not
Yeah.
Wachowskis were going to be involved, the Wachowski sisters were going to be involved.
And I'm pretty sure it confirms what my suspicion was that this was a career move for the Wachowskis, since everything they've been doing has been failing. Jupiter's Ascending, I don't know if it was a box office bomb, but it failed critically.
It's well, I just watched that movie not that long ago because I mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was just a weird movie. It was just really weird. Like it made sense but didn't make sense. And again, Channing Tatum was in it.
That one bugged me hearing the reviews. With Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis, sounds like you can't lose.
Yeah, but it was just weird. It was just too sci-fi but not sci-fi enough in some areas. And then they try to do like a constellations kind of thing with it too, astrological thing, and just like you don't have to try and pull all that together at one time. Just kind of tell a nice story, and you probably would have been okay. But
and then
they tried to do too much and too little at the same time. They tried to do too many things too little.
and then what is it? Cloud Atlas bombed, Speed Racer bombed before that. That was a bummer. Sense8 got canceled after 2 seasons. There was supposed to be 5. Like they've just been losing on the books, at least,
Yeah,
one way or the other. And at a certain point, the studio is just going to be like, I was going to say bro, but that would seem disrespectful. Like gals, like we can't,
yeah,
we need something that's gonna even break even.
yeah. And they've given them plenty of chances, so you can't say that because of their choices in life or what have you, that negatively impacted their career, because they were still given several chances after everything.
Yeah.
So you can't say it's cancel culture or
Yeah.
anything like that. I mean, that's where I'm getting to.
Yeah.
So you can't say it's necessarily like cancel them because of their life choices or whatever. But yeah, I mean, they did so good with the Matrix, and now to hear that 4 is disappointingly bad, that
Yeah, I think it was the second most engaging story, but
there's a love story attached to this. So I mean, at least it's got to be somewhat good, right? Right? Crickets, crickets. No,
what kind of story did you say was attached to this?
a love story.
Ah. But yeah, there's like I don't know, the only 2 things I really have a complaint on, and it is a messier film, I guess. But there's a huge exposition dump in the middle that I'm just like, ugh, don't just cut it out. I don't care. And like I said, those actions, it just felt like they were, just too much, too many edits. Just fucking, geez, keep a shot for through like a full. Just stop cutting. And
You're
I
you're
don't know. It might have
you're gonna
just been intentional to like try to sink the franchise and actually stop them from fucking with their original vision.
yeah, makes sense. So would you say
Mhm.
that they tried to doom this movie and pull the Doomsday Protocol to stop that movie and
I
make
appreciate
content
I
world
appreciate
world world class transitions here.
yes. See, all right. So to come back to Kingsman, after the explosions, I love what Merlin said when he's like, Eggs, he's like, conveniently, you're not at home. he's like, I could say the same about you. Do you think I would kill Roxy and Merlin and my fucking dog? It's like, no. think I would. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, ties it together, and now they can trust each other.
Yeah, and explains the arm. They go to the Doomsday Protocol.
Which I probably would never have seen that little S in the back of that bottle. I would have been so hammered drunk that I would have never. The bottle probably would have got smashed somewhere down the line, and it would have been the end of it.
Yeah,
Kingsman
this
over from that point on.
Kentucky. This is another thing I would change. I laughed in the theater when they did the cut. How did you react when they went, should we do one for JB? Yeah, I think we should. And then they just cut to
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. With the bottle was from like it was still close to the top, and then they cut back into the crying. It's like half gone.
Yeah. I did enjoy that on a first watch, but I do agree with some people who've said that they undercut the emotionality of the scene of the losses. So
At the same time, they need to move the story along. We can't sit there and dwell on that for too long.
oh yeah.
I mean, this is what, like a 2-ish hour movie. I mean, we're talking about adding another 5 minutes of emotionality to this movie.
Oh, I'm not even saying I'd add anything.
Yeah,
Let's see what I would change, and I rewatched the first half of the film right before sitting down. I would change it to, should we do one for JB? Which is a funny line.
yeah.
Change that to, can we do one for JB? And then he says, I think we should. And they sit down, take a drink, and we just linger on Merlin for a second and like have his face kind of crumple just a little bit, like he is close to crying. And then before we cut, we hear, I should have caught it, Charlie and the dog, all that. And then we cut and have him breaking down, and then have Eggsy say, no, bro, if it wasn't for you, I'd lost it long ago. And I think that would have kept the emotionality while not playing it for a joke. It would still be funny seeing him, and I would still keep I think we should drink to Scotland. I think that's funny, but it's fucking drunk. It's not a joke in the edit. And yeah, that's all I'd change, because yeah, I mean, it definitely sits with them, their loss. And one thing, like last week when you said, when you pointed out that all the colorful explosions was to avoid blood for Valentine, and I just like had my jaw on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
McCoy Klutz on Instagram, when I was doing the Kingsman minutes, he pointed out that because Merlin says this is not a time for emotionality, like we need to do the job, and then afterwards you may shed a tear in private. And him crying in this scene shows that earlier, when he was being so stoic and composed, he was weeping inside. And later, when he's on the mine and he tells Eggsy that this is no time for emotions, that meant he was crying inside again, like mourning the loss of his life and the friendships that are going to end with his death at the end when he's on the mine. And I equally, my jaw was on the ground, just like, oh my God, that makes that moment so much more heartbreaking.
Well, and not only that, I mean, like he traded himself out for Eggsy's, because it wasn't Eggsy who stepped on it first.
Yeah.
And then he was able to freeze it for a second, just long enough for him to put his foot on it.
As a payment for his father's lost life.
Mm-hmm. And there's he was expecting Eggsy was expecting the mine to, to be done with, dealt with, whatever, and then to have him switch them spots was I mean, it's brave. It's definitely brave.
Yeah.
But
and Merlin probably calculated that they'd have a better chance with 2 agents than an agent and a quartermaster. I mean, just to get down to brass tacks.
Yeah. I see him more of as like an M light. I guess, yeah, a Q.
Oh.
Yeah, James Bond equivalents.
Oh, this might be the best time for you to mention that butterfly
Oh,
thing you told me. This, by anyone who doesn't know, Brad is the new co-host for Bond Minute Bond. He is a Bond aficionado, the person I know who knows most about Bond that I talked to, and he pointed something out cool about the first one that plays into this one.
That the M in the early movies, and it gets brought out in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, is what's the word for it? The where it collects butterflies and pins them. There's a name.
He wanted to be a lepidopterist. I don't know if that's the title, the profession, or the hobby. I don't know.
Yeah. So they both enjoy the same thing, where they both enjoy pinning butterflies.
Yeah.
Because on Her Majesty's Secret Service, in that movie, he has them pinned up on his walls and stuff, and Bond becomes an aficionado of butterflies really quick, as Bond normally does.
Yeah, and and I always thought, like, not knowing so much about Bond myself, I always thought that was either just backstory that they had planted and then they got to utilize in this film for that story, or well, no, yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought it was backstory. I didn't realize it was a reference. There's another reference, I think, in the color scheme of the Kingsman flag that I think is to Bond, because in Doctor No, Bond's apartment, where Sylvia Trench breaks in, the walls are that shade of green with like gold accents or shelving or something. I was just like, oh, that's the fucking Kingsman like color scheme. Beautiful. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that movies like this, obviously Austin Powers, but a Man Named Uncle, they all kind of take homage to James Bond, and they take certain things, certain aspects, whether it be cold opens, whether it be certain things like, M and Harry have the same hobby, which is a really random thing to have, kind of thing. So
yeah, if Harry's not the new Arthur, I'm just gonna be like,
peace out.
Missed that. No,
I don't care about your other 5 movies you have planned, Matthew Vaughn.
No.
So it's funny because you were so down in the dumps talking about how this is like the last one, and now there's articles coming out where Matthew Vaughn says he's already got the next 8 written or something like that.
Literally. So I'm now in the middle, but man, I pendulum swung so hard because later that day, after publishing, or at least the day that we published the review for that one, there were articles of Matthew Vaughn confirming that he owns the rights to Kingsman. The other studios just get the option to distribute it. So Disney has first option. If not, they'll go elsewhere. I'm a little more worried with this box office, but you're
putting this against Spider-Man. Come on, like,
yeah, other studios should know.
You got shit on there.
Yeah, I don't think Disney's interested in distributing it anymore. I've long thought they wouldn't be interested in distributing this one, considering it quote unquote only makes 400 million on $100 million budgets.
Yeah,
but
I mean, but it's, you say Disney, and I know what you mean by that, but it's technically distributed by Fox, which, yes, owned by Disney, got it. But a lot of people don't see it that way. So you can release different things on the Fox brand that you probably wouldn't release directly under Disney brand.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. Like, Disney still wants to do Deadpool under Marvel, but
yeah,
I think I'm only referring to Disney.
But I don't think Disney would come out. Yeah, I don't think Disney would come out and say, we own Deadpool. No, I think they would say, we own Marvel. Marvel owns Deadpool, kind of thing, like that. Yeah. That degree of separation.
Oh yeah.
So I think Disney,
20th Century, whatever
Fox,
it's called now.
Yeah, 20th Century Fox
anymore.
It's not.
It's 20th Century Studios.
Oh,
as Fox got to keep Fox News, and Disney would not like to be name associated with Fox News.
Don't know why. That's crazy. What? Yes, you're right. It's 20th Century Studios. You're right. Well, they kept basically the exact same logo.
Yeah, I know if they distribute it, but it would still be 20th Century Studios. We're not going to see the Disney cast.
Yeah.
Although that would be hilarious.
And then it would be so funny to blow that thing up somewhere in the movie.
But no, Matthew Vaughn was just keeps referring to it as Disney in the interviews. I think this
Yeah,
pretty much
probably.
kills the chances for the Kingsmen, which was his idea for the title for the Kingsman sequel. But who knows?
Yeah. I can understand why he would keep referring it to Disney, because I'm sure he had all of his meetings and stuff were Disney executives.
Yeah.
And then they decide kind of where to go from there. But
they do great merchandising. I mean,
oh yeah,
the $2,000-$1,500 bottles, like for a movie like this, they merchandise well enough. I've seen like all those merchandise options came around around the original release date, of course. But like the first or second movie had like a shaving set, Mr. Porter. They have very expensive Kingsman clothing. I was about to buy the gold Kingsman ring from Mr. Porter that's made in Italy, is $420.
And then I see. Okay.
But then
I was going to say, then you came to your senses, but then I realized what the number was. Got it.
No, I was about to, and then I just was searching like Kingsman merchandise, and it said Mr. Porter $255. And I was like, and it was the same thing. I was like, what? And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna check out from here. Almost $200 cheaper. And then it was like, oh no, this is to ship to Canada. And I was like, everywhere else in the world, this fucking ring is $420. Why is it $255 to Canada? Okay. All right. And then I messaged a friend in Canada. I was like, hey, could you forward it to me? But then I immediately took it back and found a service that will accept a shipment.
Yeah, it's a forwarding service.
Yeah. And then I didn't know these things existed.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't have been surprised. Everything exists in the digital age. And for like $25, they're gonna forward it to me. I was like, I just hacked the system. So I got that, and then an orange notebook that was also $5 cheaper than if it had been sent to the US. But it's orange because Matthew Vaughn is colorblind, except for orange. So I was like,
that's a weird fact. That's a weird fact.
Well, that's why.
What's his name's jacket is orange?
Yeah, that's why his jacket is orange. Valentine's hat was orange in the first one. If you watch Kick-Ass, Mark Strong's character had a lot of orange. Yeah, he said what he thinks is orange. Obviously, he can't, no,
can't confirm. Sure.
Yeah, but which also just makes it so much more impressive that movies like this or Kick-Ass are so colorful and gorgeous in that sense, to me. But yeah, and then I got the notebook that said reputation is what people think of you, character is what you are or what you do. All for a lower price than that one Kingsman ring. But I am ready to be at work with that Kingsman ring on my right pinky, and anytime someone says it, I was like, yeah, you could go on Etsy, it's like $60. Like, does that look great? Like, don't rob me. This is my only nice thing, except for those things.
Were those bottles?
Yeah, that I'll never open. But yeah. Oh, I also know the Kingsman titles that I'm going to be doing for my Kingsman podcast whenever I get to it. One will be the King's Minutes, naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main one, which I want to hopefully do like an interview type thing, trying to like get a sit down with Matthew Vaughn to pop open one of these bottles, would be called King's Mania. I think it accurately diagnoses my condition.
Well, that saved us some fees there, some doctor fees. That's good. I'm glad you can admit that.
Oh no, I still go to my therapist. I bawled this morning so bad, so hard. Woo. Had to get a extra large monster just to have energy. And then I watched Encanto, which also made me cry. Would recommend.
I'll eventually sit down and watch that movie. Eventually.
It was my daughter's second time, and like 20 minutes in, I was like, I bet it's this. And I bet this thing is this. And I was like, don't confirm or deny. And then like 10 minutes later, she's like, did you look up spoilers? I was like, no.
Oh,
Thanks
I
for
did.
confirming.
I mean, I basically did the same thing with Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I predicted the main bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
even though they try and convince you it's not that person. And then I also picked out the main evil henchman, the main evil guy, the actual villain.
Oh, yeah.
I picked that out based on a hand and a slight hand cheek pinch.
Yeah. I will say I appreciate I'm happy about Hawkeye because I appreciate a
Oh,
movie
it
that
was very
just
good.
does something, maybe not surprising. Ooh, maybe not surprising, but it does it so well. Like,
Yeah, and at a good pace. They keep the action on. It slows down long enough for you to kind of catch your breath and then goes again.
gives so many
Um,
small, beautiful. Anyway,
yeah, it does. It did a really good job. It's probably the best well done out of those small series that Disney Plus has that
yeah,
they've been doing.
yeah. I like What If's ending, and I like Loki's ending, but like,
It was interesting.
yeah, but all of them have like some quite. Anyway, um,
Do you know who's not in Loki? Jeff Bridges, who's in this movie, the dude.
champagne.
Yeah, but if you but you better call me champ.
All right, so by the way, we might be going to France in the third one because Matthew Vaughn said that, like just spitballing names of agents and stuff for France.
I wouldn't mind if they pulled some of the statesman agents and did like a cooperative, like World War II style. Start don't go all the way back, but bring it most of the way back from because this is the first one in like 1800s, like the late 1800s. So then bring it up to like World War II, and then do like a cooperative one with like the statesman, Kingsman, whatever the French ones you want to be.
I think they are doing World War II if they do the Kingsman, but no, the Kingsmen. I mean, but the Kingsman is 1914 ish because that's when World War One was, and
Yeah, I was just 1902. Is when it starts off in.
oh yeah, when they're doing. Well, you haven't seen the film, so we won't ruin the opening.
Yeah, well, I just kind of glanced down and I saw a name that I saw, so I guess I can't take that back.
But yeah, so we're about to. Well, one, since we're about to meet Channing Tatum, Agent Tequila, do you think Agent Tequila is a Kingsman at the end, or he just got dressed proper?
I think he just got dressed proper. I wouldn't mind him being a Kingsman. I wouldn't mind. It makes sense thematically and towards the movie. It'd make sense.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think he just got dressed up properly just because he was talking a little bit of crap about how they dressed in the beginning when they first got there.
Y'all shitting in our cotton now.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think it was just more of a, getting dressed proper.
Yeah. All right. So we get a beautiful transition from the bottle to the Statesman, Kentucky.
Which is basically like the Jack Daniels plant.
And what is it? I think this movie does a good job of balancing your concerns. In the first one,
Yeah.
they're like, Kentucky is full of assholes. And they do that a little bit more with the guy who's nicknamed Moonshine. They should change that. That made me think he was an agent. And a lot of people think he was an agent. I call him
he might have been like the Merlin of them. Who knows?
Ginger Ale was the Merlin of them.
Oh,
but the guy
Library,
who says, look like some F words gay slur. That guy. Remember?
Okay. Yeah.
Agent Whiskey says, is that any way to show our guests some hospitality, Moonshine? And I'm like, don't call him Moon. That's not his name. That's not.
Yeah. Or pick something else. Yeah.
Just like Boyo.
Yeah.
But we get this and
call him Coke or something like that. Something you mix because you got ginger ale. Well, I guess then you'd probably also think that he's an agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you guys can say you have ginger ale, then you can have like Coca-Cola or something like that. So it's like a mixer.
um, what is it? But then we get the 1984 Statesman Reserve. Is that
Yep,
it? That scene?
I think so.
Uh, I just love that Merlin messed up. According to my calculations, this is where we get it. And fun fact, the tobacco spit. Well, one, that was Channing Tatum's first day on set. The tobacco spit was improvised by the director because the original fight was supposed to be while the Statesman Reserve was pouring out the entire time, and the director was like, "Ooh, having to clean up the set with all this liquid
That
constantly
meant
flowing
that
out of
yeah,
it.
that many times.
Yeah, how about you know what? Just put some chewing tobacco, and like Channing Tatum was like kind of gave him a set, like really." And he's like, "Yeah, this is Kingsman. It'll work."
It'll
And
be
once he
okay.
won him
Did you
over and like
did
showed him
did
how it
you
would be,
did you not see the first one? Hold on. Let's back up. You got 2 hours. We can do this.
um, but yeah, that was improvised. And yeah, what do you think about? I guess what do you think about the interrogation scene?
I you would think that they would not necessarily. It's hard. It's gonna be hard. You would think that they would have some form of
That's what she
cooperation.
said.
Oh, boom, got him. You would think they would have some kind of cooperation between the two agencies, just like we have cooperation with other agencies that aren't ours in other countries. So you'd think there'd be at least some loose affiliation. So like if something like this were to happen, you could go, wow, the tea in China is really nice this time of year, and blah 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 blah. And like they would be like, oh, you're saying these keywords. I know that you belong to these guys, and it would have made it faster. So it's weird that they don't have a system like that. But for them to take that long to figure out who they were and to kind of prove who they were, I understand, but it took too long.
Yeah, I guess they justified it well enough, calling it a doomsday protocol. Of course, if neither one had been through a doomsday and it's supposed to be kept secret, just so you know, each one can, I guess, operate separately. Or
Yeah, but you'd think they would still like have on a high level some kind of communication. So you think like Arthur and Champagne would talk because Champagne's basically the Merlin
yeah,
or basically the Arthur. So you'd think they would have some kind of communication like on a high level. So where as soon as they step in and say, no, we're Kingsman, like something should have rang in his head, been like, oh, I recognize that name. Let's, see if you're legit or not.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe they're just painted into a corner in terms of like, well, if they knew about the statesman in the first movie, why did they call them earlier or
Yeah.
whatnot?
I mean,
But
because I don't know, you try not to bother anybody else. I mean, you're trying to,
be gentlemen.
yeah, you're still trying to get your business done. You're still trying to be the ultimate heroes at the end of the thing. So if you call everybody and their brother every time you need help, then you just look like the little kid on the playground who calls for his big brother every time you get your butt whooped.
Maybe they'll have something in the King's Men of like a a betrayed a betraying agent. I don't know. They could probably
Yeah,
just
or
fight in the
a
prequels.
falling out.
Yeah, just like, hey, we got betrayed by one of our own. You're gonna split off and do your own. Let's just have each other doomsday protocol, but we don't exist
Yeah.
to each other. But let's see.
So you got all that. They kind of figure out everybody is. They kind of they tell him that they have this. They have Harry. And Harry's completely wiped. To the point where he just thinks he's
Like an
a
Elvis.
boom. Good Phil. And he wants to go back home so that way he can go back to studying his butterflies. And they're trying to convince him that no, you're a secret agent.
And he wants to see mother.
Yeah.
Um, just before we get too far away from it, ooh, that'll make you want to slap your mama. uh, what I love about this, and this obviously I'm going looking at Tequila through the lens of, he would have ended up being the bad guy. Um, is that they give the characters that are bad guys, or in this case would have been, like kind of toxic habits. Like Tequila doesn't play by the rules. He's about to light their balls on fire without any approval, just going uh going right ahead as fast as possible. Gonna shoot the Lepidopterus. I mean, I don't know if he wouldn't have. I wouldn't doubt if he would have.
I wouldn't have doubted.
Yeah, and they give him a good ribbing with Jeff Bridges. When are you gonna start acting like a statesman, Tequila? Um, he does drugs, so I guess that's just more of like the adapting to the hand that they were dealt.
and
But
then and then Eggsy's girlfriend also is looped into that category too, but she also went to some festival or something like that. Um,
uh yeah, Eggsy's girlfriend
a
was just smoking weed out of sadness, right?
I don't remember.
Their dead relationship.
And then the senator or somebody to the in the United States,
Oh,
um,
the president.
president or secretary, president, secretary, or something like that too gets looped in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she
Fox.
yeah, because she's like, well, you don't really know what's going on in everybody's lives. And she's like, I work here 20 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Some people could do that without chemical help.
Yep.
But then was it in terms of toxic traits, whiskey uh continuously votes ginger ale down from being an agent.
Yes.
Um
For no good reason.
when he's brought back from his gunshot wound, he immediately goes into college bro. You can scream. I've seen you for 3 seconds, but you can scream my name because my roommate's out all night.
That whole
uh,
technology is pretty cool though.
yeah,
How they save Harry, and then because he gets shot in the face, like
yeah, and they use that for more than one thing as well.
Yeah.
When he's trying to flirt with the golden circle girlfriend, he does the cringiest pickup line. I just assume somebody with your charisma must be something. And then he gaslights her. I know you didn't mean to make me feel like a dumbass, so you can make it up to me by letting me buy you. And then he snaps at the bartender. No, don't do that. Also, and he's totally casual. One, he doesn't know how to please a woman because ginger ale says it's nice to be working with someone who knows what they're doing. And he's totally cool. He's like, yeah, we're just gonna do the creepiest way to bug a person. Um, which I also love for Eggsy. It makes him so fucking anxious. Brings out different sides of him. The honesty with Tildy being the main differentiator from Bond. you know? Anyway, but we were at okay, so we've met now we're meeting Champ.
Yep.
We're getting rid of tequila because of scheduling conflicts.
Yeah. So we got to find a way out for him. So because he's not the cleanest of agents, he comes down with the virus that Poppy sets out.
Yeah.
They try and make Whiskey the bad guy. Once they figure out, they kind of get everything sorted out with Harry. They try and make him out. Harry tries to make him out to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
In fact, like he kind of hangs him out to dry at that shootout.
At that point, did you know that Whiskey was well, I bet you did. Did you know Whiskey was bad?
The movie does a really good job of trying to make you think both ways. Because you're thinking, well, he's on the good team, on the Statesman. Harry, who just came out of thinking he was a Lepidopterist minutes before the shootout, now accuses him of being a double agent. So the movie makes you pull both ways. Like, oh well, Harry's instincts should be right. I mean, but he just came out of ICU basically.
Yeah. Uh,
So the movie does, they do a really good job trying to play both ways.
what is it? Similar to how Harry bugged Eggsy in the first movie and it panned down, and I would have changed that. I would have changed the knocking the vial out of Eggsy's hand, because that was a beautiful shot. But one, when they were being spun around and he did the lasso, I literally pointed at the screen. I was like, a golden circle. I thought that was a hint, may not have been. An intentional one at least. And then when he just does that and like it looks like he smacked the arm, I'm like, oh yeah, yep, nope, he's a bad boy. I
Yeah,
don't know
but I
why I
mean,
sounded like Looney Tunes, but
but again, the movie tries to make you think he's good because Harry's like, no, he's a double agent, let him go, kind of thing. And he goes out and kills a bunch of people. And he's like, oh, what? He said, cover me. And they just chose not to cover him, and he just goes out and kills everybody anyway.
thank God I didn't need any backup. um, let's see. Okay, so what did you think about the wait? So we get that we have the bugging scene, call to Tildy.
Hmm.
Did,
And
did you
then,
think her is that a proposal was as cringy as I thought it was?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Like we needed I get it. I wouldn't change that because it did make it awkward. However, when she's wishing him good luck and she's given him the puppy earlier, uh I'd I'd have put a after he says, I don't need another reason to come home. It's like I would have liked some cute, calm way of like, maybe we should make it official. Hmm?
Yeah,
And then him being like,
something.
babe, babe, I'm a secret agent. It's like, yeah. Just think about it, Hmm? It's like, okay, I will. It's just like we understand they're not on the same page, but it's not cringe out of
Yeah.
nowhere. And then later when she says, "Is that a proposal?" Be like, "Oh yeah, they've had that conversation before. This is the worst time to continue that conversation. Holy shit." um, and then just change the line of like, "Remember the secret agent?" And then continue on. Um, what happens next after that?
They go to the Italian Alps or Italy or whatever. They go to
Yeah.
the Honor Majesty Secret Service esque Italian mountainside village.
Wait, I accidentally skipped something. Um, before that, oh, they find he goes to the Kentucky. He gets a Kentucky martini.
I don't remember that.
He's in a bar and he's sad because their relationship seems like it might be over. He's tried calling her and she's not answering. And then the woman brings like 3 shots of whiskey. He's like, that's not a martini. It is in Kentucky. Fair enough. And he's drinking it and he's trying to call Tildy again. And she's like, I haven't seen this part before recording again. She's like, give up, and hangs up again. And he's going through their old photos and sees the picture of either his old dog or the new dog.
The new
And
one, the
he
one that looks
gets
like the Mr. Pickle.
nice. Oh, no. Then he gets the idea to go to a new pet shop and he gets one that looks like Mr. Pickle. And he then goes to Harry.
Oh,
Oh,
yep, you're right.
before the bar scene, he goes and tries to convince him. He's like, Harry, you just can't leave. I was like a maggot. He's like, maggots turn into flies. Maybe you mean larva. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's just everyone was trying to squash me, but not you. I need you, Harry. He's like, I'm sorry. The Harry you knew, yada yada yada. And he leaves and he comes back with the Mr. Pickles lookalike. 2 things. One, when I was breaking it down, and again, it's not minute by minute, it was 59 seconds at a time. But that minute when he gets his memory back is minute 69. um, but also when he points the gun at the dog, Harry doesn't see because of his eye patch, which is just a great attention to detail. Um, and then they get him back, and then they go to the bar where the guy who's nicknamed Moonshine is, and he goes, "Manners maketh man." Do you know what that means? It's like, we're gonna stand around all day, or are we gonna?
Yeah. Well, he locks the door in the same way, and then like, are we gonna stand around here? Or are we gonna fight? And then he just gets blindsided.
He starts getting his ass kicked, and then
Well, I think because he throws a mug, misses,
yeah,
like hits, like almost hits Eggsy.
yeah.
They were on the
Whiskey catches
table.
the bug, and then Whiskey like lassos him out. He's like, "Well, pick him up," and he does the whole. I feel like a tornado in a trailer park, and Poppy comes on. Oh, we've missed a few Poppy scenes.
Yeah.
John and Angel getting hunted by the dogs, and
then ground up and
it was eaten by. We see him in the Elton John glasses reflections.
Yeah,
Being tossed, and then we see Poppy's commercial. Save lives, legalize, and Elton John going, "What the fuck have you done to me, you bitch? Get the fuck out of my room! Get out! Get the fuck out!"
And that took me crazy by surprise when he started cussing like that. Just crazy, because
I don't care if you're Mother Teresa. If you're in that situation, you start cussing like that. I was like, I'll say, I'm not even religious. I'll say amen. And then they are
and then she broadcasts the message that she's added toxin to all the drugs. Which turns everybody, was it blue, gives them like blue veins.
Yeah, the blue hashtag blue rash.
Blue rash. And then they go from there into a dancing frenzy.
That's one of the stages, is mania.
And then
his white best friend is smoking fucking crack or meth. Yeah. And I forgot to mention this. Since you've seen F9, the bouncer at the music festival is the guy who just smashes through a road sign with his head, who fights John Cena on the top of that caravan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's crazy. I would have never thought that. Never seen that.
Yeah, I think he's a wrestler or something. But and then the girl who Eggsy had to finger and who he turned down for reciprocation. Turned it down. That was the other scene in this movie where everyone's like, "You're sexist, Matthew Vaughn." Fun fact: the finger that goes down is actually her husband's. In real
really?
Life. Eggsy, no, not Eggsy. Taron Egerton was like, "Okay, I get it, Matthew Vaughn. I get this is Kingsman. Can we have it so I'm not putting my finger on her? It's just that I'm getting in the headspace of Elton John, and he doesn't like ladies. So no, that's not the reason. So I think the angle may have dictated, or that may have dictated the camera angle. I don't know. But when you see the finger come in, that's her real life husband's finger. I guess. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean,
just for continuity.
Yeah, it'd probably been funnier if it wasn't, or if you had like super hairy knuckles or something, that would have been hilarious too. But just to have it the little off,
yeah,
just to make sure it's not perfect.
Yeah, and then she's calling her boyfriend, saying, "You said don't do any drugs. It's a music festival. What do you expect?" And he offers to fly her to the Alps. So it's through that phone tap
that he traces her.
Yeah, that they go to the Alps, and what is it?
I get a sample of the antidote. Basically, I mean they
he pretends to be Wu Ting Fei.
Yeah,
you are Wu Ting Fei. It's like, yes.
It was like going to the Maldives, or that order was like going to the Maldives or something like that.
think it was
Like,
Hong Kong.
oh, was it?
I'm only saying that because one of the screens later when the place gets destroyed again because of a toxic, insecure man, he finds out she cheated. So of course the rational response would be kill your girlfriend. That's
Yes,
just
absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
the
I mean,
healthy thing.
yeah.
I said with sarcasm. um, Wu Ting Fei is the only hint they have, so they use that to
To get the sample.
do something or to track and find out where Poppy is.
Cambodia, which is a good spot. Good spot.
Okay. And what do you think of the blue goo? Oh, ye of little faith. For all the bad guys.
I don't remember that.
Oh, after Harry shoots Whiskey and then
Mhm.
they're shooting at them with Gatling guns, Harry takes the aftershave, pushes down the button real hard. A mixture starts going and he throws it out the window. And then, like, all the soldiers are like captured in this blue solid goo. Like it's an explosion that also traps them to suffocate, I presume.
Yeah, hold them eternally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I definitely don't remember that. I mean,
And
I definitely believe it, but I don't remember that part.
your wife might be at that part right now.
It probably is.
um yeah, then one thing I like just as a production standpoint is when Charlie's running up and trying to hit the door, one side dents, of course, because he has Armageddon on, but the other side also dents. So you're just like, oh, it was a thin piece
It's a
of
pocket.
tin foil,
Yeah.
kind of. Whoopsie. Uh, and then they spin in the gondola. The electric whip cuts it, and then they also almost run into uh, Lethal Weapon 6. The pair of old men. That was the best shit I've had all week. uh, and yeah, and then was it they go back to Statesman? Harry, no, not Harry. Eggsy claim says that Whiskey was caught in the crossfire.
Hmm. To cover. Yeah.
Yeah. Ginger Ale starts doing what she needs to do to bring Whiskey back, and um, Harry admits that he shot Whiskey deliberately. Merlin starts grilling him about stuff like what was the thing when this state happened, saving Margaret Thatcher. Um, uh, and then finally, what's my favorite musician? Like, I don't know. Why would I know that? It's John Denver. And Eggsy gets
Take me
a
home.
gets a video call from his girlfriend looking for the banana man. And they all get on a Statesman airliner,
Yep.
which
I mean,
brings us
the airliner is way better than the underground tunnel system and taxis that the Kingsman have.
uh yeah, I mean, hey, what they did have their own jet. I realized that on a recent rewatch that in both movies, one at the end of the first one, Merlin's like, the only people I can trust are you two new recruits because you can't have been compromised yet. There might be other Kingsman agents that have been compromised, which I think the head explosion pretty succinctly solved that issue later. You
Yeah.
know, they don't have to come back and be like, okay, so which of you were gonna go with Arthur? It's like, oh no, you're dead. Okay,
You
cool.
don't have a head. You're obviously.
How considerate of Valentine to do our work for us. So they don't enlist anyone else, and they go off on their own jetliner. And then this one, they don't enlist any statesmen because Whiskey is suspected to be, and correctly, bad guy. So they do that, and besides Country Road, I think we have one of the best emotional scenes of just Harry and Eggsy having a tete-a-tete about,
Oh, yep.
you know, they have a martini for old time's sake, and Eggsy talks about the woman he loves, who he might lose forever.
Yep. Um,
And Harry's last thoughts before he died. How did that hit you?
um,
If it didn't hit you, that's fine.
I mean, I'm trying to remember. I think it did in the moment, but now talking back on it, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting conversation to have, um, because as a secret agent, you're not allowed to have girlfriends and stuff like that. Just kind of a natural thing. Um, so to go through all that kind of stuff is just, I can understand it being emotional. I don't remember, how I felt at that time, but
Harry, when Eggsy says he doesn't want to lecture because he knows Kingsman agents aren't supposed to have relationships, Harry mentions that he didn't think anything before he died. He didn't have any fond memories, no connections, and he at least infers that that may have been the wrong way to go. Not having anything worth living for might not have been the healthiest
I mean,
way to live.
as a Kingsman, you weren't supposed to have relationships or whatever, but obviously Merlin knows. Obviously Roxy knows. So the times they are a changing.
Yeah. um yeah, and then we get this is for the end game, which is the syringe, certain explosives like hand baseball being a hand grenade.
Yeah.
Perfect. The baseball bat minesweeper, and this is for you, and this big ass knife is for me. Which also comes in again because he starts cutting it later when he starts singing his song, the all the vines and stuff.
Yep. As they're cutting their way through the forest.
Yeah. What is it?
And then also they have they use the baseball bat as the minesweeper, but then they also, once Eggsy steps on a landmine, they go in the backpack again, pull out the freezer agent or the freezer stuff to freeze the landmine for a second. So you're thinking, cool, we're gonna get out of this, we're good. But he freezes it, and it freezes just long enough for Merlin to put his foot on there. So back to, I know we kind of talked about this already, but I mean, that probably hit me. That probably hit me harder than anything else in this movie. It was just that raw emotion of sacrificing for the greater good.
Dude,
because
yeah.
I liked Merlin. Merlin was sweet. Because he even, like, in the beginning, makes jokes at Eggsy's expense when Eggsy was like running through the park. He's like, you realize that, or gets to the pond. He's like, you realize I don't have a windshield. He's like, well, I remember from your training that you can hold your breath pretty well. Get on.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really liked Merlin's character. So it was sad to see him. Like, it was quite a shock to see him switch places.
Yeah, as poorly treated as I think this film has been by the main fan base, the number one clip between both movies that I've seen shared most of all is Merlin's goodbye. The like, no matter what, I love that at least it's loved by the fan base, whether they enjoy the movie or not, that's around it. Because damn, just country road.
Which is funny because they weren't in West Virginia. They were in Kentucky. They're currently not in West Virginia. They're in Cambodia. They don't live in West Virginia. They live in London, more likely. So it's just funny that that's his favorite song. And like it would have made more sense if it would have been like an Elton John song or a Beatles song or something like that. But for having it be John Denver, Country Roads is just hilarious in its own right.
Yeah, the Matthew Vaughn said originally he was like, it's been a while, this is supposed to be a love letter to American culture from him. He's like, it's been a while since I've heard a John Denver song in a movie, and I'd like to bring it back.
So
And
out
in
of
that
curiosity,
same year, three different movies, this one included, had Country Road.
that's what I was going to ask because I was like, I know there's other movies with this that came out somewhere around the same time, and then there's also a video game. Was it Fallout? There was
I
a
don't
video
remember
game that
really.
came out all their ads featured country roads. Um, so I want to say it was just before this time or just after.
Yeah, it was some kismet, something in the water in like Hollywood or something. Just the nostalgia for John Denver came back all at the same time.
They were all having a meeting and somebody outside very quietly was humming country roads.
Oh, yeah. So all right. So how did that whole final sequence, the that starts off with uh you think it's a rescue time? Maybe. Wednesday, Wednesday. Isn't that Saturday? What day is today? Wednesday. Exactly. Saturday, Saturday. What'd you think of all that?
It was cool to see him, Elton John, kind of, kick some ass at the same time. Um, I liked the fight between the dogs and
Harry.
Harry and Eggsy. Um, I thought that ending fight scene was pretty sweet. Um,
Which
uh,
one with whiskey or just like
no,
murdering
just
henchmen?
murdering henchmen all the way up to the diner. Because
uh
when they like pan back right towards the end and it's like just carnage all the way up in like the bowling alley and everything else all the way up to the diner,
yeah,
Poppy's diner.
I haven't seen it in maybe a month at least. Because I rewatched them before seeing the Kingsman, but they start off with the opening uh henchman getting blown up by Merlin, and then the doors start closing and they both and Eggsy bats in the hand grenade that Harry tosses him. They sneak in and then they start shooting. I think they shoot like the scissors down and impale a
Mm-hmm.
couple people. He takes the
Uh,
briefcase and like nukes into someone's bazooka, like, and blows them up.
and then he shoots down like a was it a donut logo or a donut
Oh,
off the roof of
yeah,
one of them.
and they like walk behind it using it as cover, and the briefcase opens up to be like a shield kind of thing. And
Kind of like the umbrella was in the first movie.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend you watch this movie 100 times, because eventually having Harry fight one dog and defeat it and then fight another dog and defeat it, it's like, okay, all right, it gets a
Well,
little, a
there
little bogged down.
it makes sense because one of the dogs wasn't fully charged or whatever. I don't remember if it was Benny or Jet, but one of them wasn't fully charged, so he
Yeah,
didn't have to fight them both at the same time.
yeah.
I think he did towards the end when he killed the first one, and then the other dog came out. But so I mean, at least it's not completely crazy.
Oh yeah, it's totally covered up. But and then what is it? I loved when Charlie used Armageddon and accidentally put that hole in the bowling alley. That was used as a false escape for Harry, and then he gets cornered, and then we get Rocket Man. Stay behind me. It can't hurt me. Fuck you, Poppy. Fuck you, fuck you, Elton John. Kill Elton John.
Yeah, because he's hiding behind him because the dogs see Elton John as friend
Yeah.
in their screen system, and he's like bashing him with the bowling balls.
And what is it? Eggsy had to survive long enough to get control of Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
And the that end when he's like, give me the code, is like, no one has the code, Poppy, and he just goes, well, then you're of no use to me anymore. Charlie, uh I'm more of a gentleman than you'll ever be. This is all from memory, by the way. I'm total nerd. but it's time to drop the gentle bit. This is for Roxy, Merlin, JB. The order might have been messed up. And he just, ooh, ooh, just some classic filmmaking. Just add a little sound and you fake a neck break and then pull out. I loved it. And yeah, then we get the card after Harry's killed the second dog with gold.
Yep. The same gold that gives the tattoos.
They also the robot had a grenade launcher, and Harry used the thing he used in the bar in the first movie to wrap up the grenades and shoot it back at the robot and blow it up during that sequence. Do you remember what that is?
I don't.
All right. In the first movie, there's a guy who is going to hit him with like a broken bottle, and he kind of wrapped the arm and pinned it against.
With the against the bar, the metal, like a boa.
And he did that with the grenades that had been launched. He kind of like looped him up and threw him back. Anyway, but yeah, they have the whole carnage across everywhere, and they go and talk to Poppy, and Viva Las Vegan.
Yep. They inject her full of drugs. She turns she goes from the blue rash to manic like super quick compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
And then
Viva Las So right around Harry's neck.
Mm-hmm.
Since Whiskey's about to mention the president, what do you think of the president twist when he was like, we just won the war on drugs?
Yeah, because they're going to get rid of everybody that did drugs and has a blue rash and everything. I mean, I can see it happening. If you had the wrong person there, you could definitely see it happening.
Right? That's a twist I never would have thought to do, but makes so much sense. I would not have been surprised. Like it's so
far
serving it up on a silver platter.
So far in both these movies, the U.S. president has done the wrong thing both times.
Which I would recommend anyone to watch on Netflix. Don't Look Up, because that is just the way I summarized it on the Granny Shifton Discord was 2 scientists discover that a planet-killing comet is coming to strike Earth, and the way that the world works gets in the way.
Is that the one with
Leo DiCaprio?
Like a fat Leo.
Hey, not as fat as he could be. He still looks nice. He's gone from his BMI to mine, and I think everyone can agree if I had Leo's bone structure.
Meryl Streep is in that movie. Chris Evans.
Oh yeah, Meryl Streep is the
Jonah Hill. Is he like attached
Chris
to Leo's?
Is not in the film.
What? Says he is.
Meryl Streep's in it. She's the president. Jonah Hill is some high-ranking government official, but in reality, he's just her son.
Yeah. I remember seeing.
I wish Chris Evans was in this movie. That would have been great.
The reason why I ask if Jonah Hill is attached to Leo's hip is because I just watched Wolf of Wall Street, because that came out on
great
4K Steelbook, so I have the 4K Steelbook for that.
Ooh, really? Anyone who likes Wolf of Wall Street should also watch Hustlers. They're literally brother and sister to each other around the same crisis. It's insane. It's almost as if those movies were planned to be brother and sister, but they weren't.
And then it's got Timothy Chalamet or whatever.
Yeah. He's great. He was in Lady Bird, and
he looks super familiar. So I know he's in something I've seen.
He's in Dune.
Dune, that's what it is.
And he was also in
Little Women.
Yeah, he was in Little Women, but he was also in Beautiful Boy. Oh, Steve Carell. I think it's an Amazon Prime original. What a good one.
That's why he looks familiar, because he's the guy in Dune. Got it. I was like, dude, the kid looks familiar, and I don't know why.
And yeah,
Yeah. So I've
this.
seen it. I've seen an ad for that. So I do want to see that. I thought that was an older movie that just came to Netflix or they just picked up or whatever.
Oh
I didn't
no,
realize.
Netflix original came out last Friday.
Yeah.
It's basically a. I'm not going to say the connection. You can you can connect the dots.
Yeah. I'll eventually see it because, yeah, because when I saw the commercial or ad for it or whatever, I was like, that movie looks good. So I figured I'll get to it eventually. But there's a couple other movies, and I know I just ordered a bunch of movies. I know Dune is going to come out in 4K here pretty quick, so I'm pretty tied up.
I got the. I think you said you also got it. The Spider-Man No Way Home steelbook.
But I'm disappointed because I guess that's not going to be the official cover,
Oh,
because every like different ads have the cover different. So I guess in like the UK, unless every region is going to get their own cover.
I think so because the UK or no, Germany already has a steelbook available for pre-order for the Kingsman, and the US does not have a steelbook cover. So I'm like, just let me pre-order it. Just let me pre-order 100 of them. um. All right. So all right. One of the most divisive things I've seen, besides calling the the fingering scene sexist,
Okay.
is the choice of song during this last action sequence. Word Up, the Southern Word Up. After, did you have any strong reaction to it?
I I don't even remember it. That's how much strong of a reaction I had to it. I don't
Like,
remember that being a thing. Like I,
it was,
I like listening to the music. I think that's something that a lot of movies do really well, do really poorly. Um, Rewatching No Time to Die and the way that they use No Time to Die theme song throughout that movie in different ways, and they'll just use sampling of it, or they'll an orchestral version of it, or they'll just single out certain instruments. I think they do it really well. So I'm a person that really likes music when it comes to their movies, and I like the that background, but I do not remember. I remember Elton John's songs, but I do not remember Word Up.
it was, it was after, well, one, we should talk about Whiskey's motivations, but when Eggsy says, I think he's right, Harry. I think it sounds like a bright idea. And he does the flashlight thing on the watch, and he
Mhm.
like, Harry does the most bad. It's so badass, but so awkward. Just like slip out of a lasso. It just goes. I have the song. I listen to it every day at work because I'm a movie song playlist. But it's basically just a southern version of that old song "Word Up." Um, when they're both fighting whiskey. I was in it like
The
from
only word,
to
the only
back.
word up, the only word up song I can think of is the like with Limp Bizkit or something like that,
Yeah, it's
or
Word Up
Corn or
by
something.
Boss Haas. Um, but all right, so
Oh,
one,
it's Corn. Okay.
the thing I would change with, what is it? Whiskey's explanation when he's saying like all the drug users, get rid of the drug users, and then the Statesman stock skyrockets. I would no, I cut out the money thing because rewatching it just becomes too much for
I
me.
mean, but the reason why he does it makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
for his
it's
love of
the
his
bat.
life.
Yeah, it's the Batman motivation.
Yeah, that was beautiful. If it just went, because I think it goes like, so you're working for the president. He's like, that asshole, blah blah blah. That was hilarious. But then he talks about the money, and it's like, and he's like, our Eggsy says our agencies were founded to uphold honor and the innocent and save the innocent or something like that. He's like, you know who is innocent? The love of my life, caught in between two junkie crackheads as they uh, held up a convenience store. Just like the money part, adding that into it just muddled it up too much. I'm like,
Yeah, you
even
could
on
have
a
just
first watch.
left the Batman motivation. You
Yeah, that would
know,
have been perfect. Otherwise, I'm like, wait, is it the money? Is it the love? I mean, I know the
yeah.
money's a benefit, but just stop. Stop talking.
Which is funny because so he hates drug users, drug dealers, and stuff like that, but he doesn't have a problem with Channing Tatum.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, you know?
Yeah, but
Uh,
he voted him an agent before he'd vote Holly Berry.
I think he's kind of sexist.
Well, that gets proven when he comes back into his bro phase.
Yeah.
But
Um, but yeah, what do you think of that final action sequence?
um, it was cool that they cool and not cool, I guess, because of how we described it the first time. But putting them through the same meat grinder.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they don't, make a burger out of them and feed it to anybody. But to bring back the meat grinder was pretty cool. I thought that was kind of it was unique. It was different.
uh, and then and then they do
The activation or the antidote thing.
yeah, we get this whole montage of everyone coming back. I'm never
and,
doing
and
that shit again.
and then like the state. Well, we also did mention the stadiums that they were putting these people in, housing them, because they were just basically taking sports stadiums and like cages of people,
Yeah.
and they were just stacking up huge cages because we followed the president's assistant or whatever it is through this process, and we see her get put into some like football stadium or something.
Yeah. Fox gets removed from there. Tildy gets saved.
Yep.
Fox, the most unrealistic part of the whole movie, and that's saying something because it's Kingsman. But the president actually being indicted,
Impeached. Yeah.
yeah,
Which
totally no.
Yeah.
I think we've learned, nah, fiction.
The statesman buy a distillery over somewhere in the UK. I don't remember where it was.
In Scotland.
Scotland to help rebuild.
Yep. Which I think is where the Glendronach. I mean, the for anyone listening, I have two Old Forester bottles.
Go ahead and grab them.
I'm gonna grab one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I wish is that it had been shaped like the movie. Like actually.
It was
Google Old Forester Statesman and you'll see the shape of it. It's a fine bottle.
It's a circle bottle, not a square bottle.
Yeah, I would just rather. There's so much dust on there. These have been sitting here for so long. the bourbon's bourbon. I don't think it's bad bourbon, but I don't think I'm. I don't think I'm a bourbon girl.
I'm not a bourbon girl.
That's a reference to Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible.
Nice. Still haven't seen it. Haven't seen it.
I'm ripping those movies for minutes accomplished.
Are these the bottles that you have a countrywide travel to go get? You had to go get it
No. These are like the Old Forester Statesman ones are $70. I think they still make them. Like they said from the beginning they were planning to have this as be something that would be around. I should get a bottle of this bourbon for the Kingsman screening. Anyway, if I can get another one.
Because didn't you go on like a cross country? Didn't you go on a cross country adventure for some bourbon?
Yeah. So those green ones I got in the mail for Kingsman 2, and then those brown boxed ones I'll grab one. That was a cross country. I went near where Ryan's is for granny shifting, and then I was gonna go to New York, but my buddy Ian, love you Ian, I'm not gonna say his last name because he is a lawyer, and I don't know if he would appreciate his full name out there.
Unless of course you attach his business to it and bring him business.
he doesn't have his own business. He works for somebody else.
I tried. Sorry, Ian.
But he was generous enough. I used a TaskRabbit to bring it to his hotel while he was in New York, and he flew it back. Very nice of him. And he one day hopes to indulge with me. So my goal is with Kingsmania to try to get interviews of people and slowly work myself closer to Matthew Vaughn. Do that, and then everyone helped along that journey get us closer to doing that. I will then revisit them with the opened bottle, and we'll all drink a toast. But let me get one of those bottles.
Nice. I think having an interview with Matthew Vaughn would be pretty sweet. There's other people that have done
First
that.
one, I think. Oh, I don't know what you're saying. I should have been
That
listening.
no, that's you're good. Um, I was just saying, I think it'd be really cool to get an interview with Matthew Vaughn, and I've seen other people do that where, they start from the bottom and they work their way up, and so I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah. So both of them, I think, are leather, but there's this like softer kind of red leather, and if you open it up,
Leather or
uh,
velvet? It looks velvet from here.
it might be velvet. I think. I don't know. It might be. It doesn't. I don't know. But it has this like custom note to everybody, and then the Kingsman logo is everywhere. I gotta put a video version out here somewhere. If you open it up, there's a magnet and the bottle's inside with Kingsman, Glendronach. This one that I opened is I still haven't properly opened. This is number 34. Oh, out of 3,052 bottles.
Why? Why is there a specific number? Is that specific to anything?
No, the first one I think they only did 2,000 bottles, and this one they did 3,000.
But why why 352? 3052. Okay.
I don't know just how much they had because they sent some tasters out or some samples to people to actually taste test it. But Matthew Vaughn is big into whiskey and stuff, and he just has a relationship with the distillery, and they like chose a batch. This is I believe the first one is a 21-year single malt Scotch, something 1991 maybe, and this is a 1989, the year I was born, aged 29 years single malt Scotch from Glendronach. You can.
Do you think his love for whiskey influenced the statesman mantra, the statesman like whole backstory of them being whiskey branded, and
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
because I mean they
did.
could have been anything.
I mean, in this one, they did do the Statesman whiskey, so they didn't just keep it to the Scotch whiskey. And they, oh, okay, never mind. They remember the line, uh, when Merlin says whiskey, which is spelled without an E, by the way. I was so ready to say like this one's spelled with an E, but no, it's Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey without an E on the Old Forester bottle. That's funny because if you look at like the different whiskeys that are on like the president's desk and stuff, there is Old Forester. That's I think it's picked up before we see the uh the one with the bug in it. But so they definitely had some product placement in here. But yeah, it was worth it. I'm glad I got two because I had lucked out the first time with two, and then I was like, I'll get at least one, but just for symmetry's sake, I'd like two. But yeah, it's the most expensive things I've ever bought, and that I have no solid plan of opening.
Yeah, I mean, I've got for Christmas one of my gifts was a like a triple digits bottle of rum, so it's like in the hundreds. I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what brand it is off the top of my head. But my stepdad who got it for me says we'll break that open on the birth of your first child or something. He said, but he says like we're not going to mix that.
There's a show I think called Chug or Three Sheets with Zach Lamprey, and he goes to Costa Rica with rum, and they're like, but you don't mix the expensive stuff, and he gets sloshed enough that he like convinces the bartender. He just like pours some. He's like, try this. The bartender's like, oh, like if it's that good, it'll make the margarita or whatever it is even better.
I mean,
Plus,
I want to be a whiskey person, but I am a rum person. So when we went to Jamaica, we went to Appleton Estates, did a tour of Appleton Estates, Jamaican rum facility.
Maybe I was wrong when I said Costa Rica. I think it was Jamaica. I think it was.
I mean, the whole Caribbean does it because they all grow sugarcane. So, so I want to do a tour.
Why are you sad that you're a rum person? It sounded like you were sad that you were only a rum person.
Because all the whiskey people are cool. um, drinking highball glasses on ice, or they just sip little bits of it. They're just
To
cooler.
twist the scene in the first movie, which I am getting tattooed soon, by the way.
On
Gonna
his
teach
right
me.
cheek. Keep
Huh?
going. I'm just
Right.
telling everybody where it's at. It's on your right butt cheek.
Sure. Definitely on my right chest, but thanks for
Nope, butt
saying my
cheek.
chest
Yep.
looks like a butt. And by that, strong, round, and plump. But no, he says you got to teach me how to speak proper, like in My Fair Lady. And he says, uh, being a gentleman is not about the way you speak; it's about the way you act. To quote Walt Whitman, "There's nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self." So I'm gonna yoink and twist that of you
Hold on,
saying,
and I'm gonna quote Kingsman 1 and say, "Aren't you full of surprises?" When he talks about, haven't you seen like,
yeah.
I forgot what the other movies were. He's like, "Oh, so like in My Fair Lady." He's like,
Yeah.
"Full of surprises."
But I no one should you I think what's cool is you loving what you love unabashedly and not feeling insecure about that. So
Yeah,
you'll be a rum man.
yeah.
Um
I mean, I'm slowly but surely getting there. Some whiskeys. That peanut butter. There's a chocolate peanut butter one that we are drinking.
oh yeah, you
Um,
mentioned that. I remember
yeah,
you
it's pretty
saying.
good. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's like a spicy Reese's peanut butter cup.
I'm sure some noblemen just rolled in their grave hearing that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love it.
Um, so I when we went to Jamaica, I was joking with my wife, that we need to start touring the Caribbean, so we can start to all the rum factories, go to Bacardi and stuff like that.
All right. Okay, so what do we have left? Um
I mean, we that's pretty much the extent of the movie.
we have the wedding, which starts with a callback to that scene actually, where with aren't you full of surprises when he asks, "What do you see?" It's like someone who wants to know what the fuck is going on. And then he starts talking about that. And this one he's like, "What do you see?" Or he's like, "You sure I don't look like a dick or something like that?" He goes, "What do you see?" It's like someone who can't believe what the fuck is going on. And it was just another heartwarming moment of Harry complimenting Eggsy. And then they go to the wedding, and Harry says, to quote one of our founders, "This isn't the end. It doesn't even feel like the middle, but maybe this is the beginning of the end." And we see all the people, clearly Elton John being recorded separately. Who's like, ah, but he was doing the music for the wedding, which I thought was awesome. We got Channing Tatum looking nice.
Mm-hmm.
Halle Berry, Jeff Bridges. Uh, by the way, we didn't mention this, but I love Harry's glasses. The one blacked out side. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was a reference to Casino Royale with the evil guy at the end with the one, but I thought it was elegant. And oh, and his mom, who doesn't show up nearly enough. I mean,
Not in this movie.
where
She
could she fit? But she shows up at the wedding.
I think she was. I think we saw her at one scene in the beginning of the movie. Maybe we didn't.
I know she shows up at the wedding at
Yeah,
least
she shows up at the wedding at least,
with
but
the
she's
royal parents.
yeah, she was a lot more in the first movie.
Which, by the way, I mean, saving your daughter's fucking life is a hell of a way to apologize for saying fucking shut it
Yes,
at
and
dinner.
pointing at him and pointing at her dad.
Yeah. Um.
That scene was so funny, so funny, because it's just in two different worlds, and it just doesn't realize
Yeah.
he's battling his inside of his glasses, not realizing what's happening outside of his glasses. And it's just
That was
so
another.
funny.
That was another part of that roller coaster that was so satisfying to me because when he's done, you're just ready for like, oh shit, how is he going to save face now?
Yeah.
And then the death comes in. So it's not even that you're just relieved that the death has been avoided, uh, as far as you know, but you're expecting to go one way and it just back the other. Anyway, um, he's a prince. He's a
Yeah.
prince now. I mean, we're in uncharted waters. One, we're in uncharted waters. We have no idea what a secret agent who's a prince could do in this kind of world. And two, Matthew Vaughn said the story for the third one is a love story between Harry and Eggsy, in that they will either end up hating each other for the rest of their lives, or, well, that's the challenge. Like they're either gonna, they might hate each other for the rest of their lives, or they'll need to find a way to overcome it. So I'm guessing that Arthur or Harry will be Arthur, and that'll keep butting up against Eggsy's duties as a prince, and that's going to cause friction. And ooh, I can't
Yeah.
wait for a non 90-year-old Arthur and an active one in the field, because I can't imagine Harry deciding to retire from the field.
Yeah. Some people that have those kind of characteristics have a hard time, taking that step back or step forward, depending on how you look at it. Even a lot of sports players, they get to the point where they just can't play anymore instead of retiring early.
Like Roy Kent.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect example. And then, then he
perfect metaphor.
perfect metaphor. And then he steps into coaching.
Spoilers.
Perfect. Yeah,
Ooh.
perfect.
Yeah. Spoiler. Sorry. To explain the spoiler, in season 2 of Ted Lasso, Roy Kent ended up coaching a young girls football
His
team, and that's the
nieces.
closest. Yeah, he's doing it for his niece, but that's the closest that he does it because he misses the game. But and that's
Burn
all.
this memory into your mind right now.
Y'all played like shit, except for you. Someone's name. Way to put your body on the line. You know it, coach. Have I mentioned 17 times that you should watch Ted Lasso?
Because we're doing a Kingsman thing, so you can't make a Kingsman tangent in a Kingsman movie.
Wait, what?
All of our other movies and everything, you make Kingsman references and tangents, and now that we're doing Kingsman, you can't do that.
Yeah, my brain's been on the Kingsman. In a couple months, it'll be clear. I'll be able to think clearly, objectively about everything.
So, question. So, because now we're getting into cool facts and interesting things. Did you play
when you were going to bring up stuff?
Yeah. Did you know that did you know, or did you play the Kingsman Golden Circle video game?
That was a mobile game, right?
Mobile game, yeah.
I found out about it after it was already off the Play Store.
Yeah. Would have never even thought of a movie like this having a mobile game attached to it.
I think I heard that it was kind of underwhelming. Kind of like the Suicide Squad game for the first Suicide Squad movie, which I did play.
I mean, it's an interesting thing. I mean, it probably didn't cost them too much to make it, and it's good advertisement. And if the game's a success, you're bringing people. If the game's a failure, they still know the brand.
Dude, could you imagine Kingsman being like Fortnite? Like if that had blown up, I could totally have seen a well-made Kingsman battle royale. Yeah.
Or when I see this, I think of like a Statesman versus Kingsman, like fighting game, like Mortal Kombat.
You can only be the side that's in. Well, no, people would probably require that you can choose your side, but anyone in the US who downloads the game is automatically a Statesman. Anyone who downloads in the UK is automatically a Kingsman.
Then they fight for dominance and glory. I don't
know. How are the reviews on the video game?
It was released in 2017 and shut down in 2018. So I can't imagine it's very good.
Man, I didn't hear anything about it. I wish I could have played it. Even if it was mediocre, I wish I could have just been like, yeah, that was a bummer.
A turn-based three-match role-playing combat game. Yeah,
What?
and it was a turn-based match
Like
three.
Pokemon?
No,
Just choose your.
it's a turn-based match three. Sounds more like what's those games where you try and match like three colors in a row, then they burst and the thing slides down.
Oh, boo. Oh wait, I'm watching. I'm muting it. I'm watching the Kingsman: The Secret Service game trailer. Are you talking about? Wait, came out in
No,
2017.
Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Okay, the Kingsman: The Secret Service is a side scroller that looks either
Yeah,
fun or awful.
the Golden Circle game was released globally on September 14th, 2017, and then the servers were shut down May 23rd, 2018. So it's only open for like, was that 9 months, 8 months?
All right, so hmm. So the Kingsman: The Secret Service game had a distinctive style. It looked interesting, but you
And
know,
that was released in 2019. It says,
wait, what?
yeah. Um, many months in early access. Um, yes, gnomes. Kingsman: The Secret Service was finally released on 1 May 2019.
I might need to check that out. It looks like an interesting style, but oh god, this oh god. Oh, that's so bad. That's so lazy.
Well, that's
I'm
why it only
looking.
lasted 9 months.
Are you looking at the gameplay?
No, no,
That
no.
that looks
Please don't make me.
so goddamn lazy. And it only has 25,000 views. Okay. Oh god, that's bad. Don't don't like that. All right, let's see. Yeah, 2019. Yes, no, Marv Studios and Fox. So this one has 8,900. Let's see. There
Is
has to
that?
be a link.
Yeah, I wonder if that game's still open, still going.
It says download on iOS, but I'm checking out a PC, so it's not really loading. Let's see. All right, give me another fact. I'm gonna see if this video game's on my iPad.
Well, I do love my budget box office, and this is probably something you already know, but this is because I think we talked about it. $104 million budget.
Mm.
The box office brought in 410 million, so they quadrupled their money. So I mean that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean I know that's not a success in Fox Disney's eyes, but I mean in my eyes I'd say spending 100 million for 400 million would be successful to me.
Yeah, 100 million for the budget, probably 100 million for the advertising, so they doubled all their money plus the merchandising.
Yeah, the
Maybe another
merchandising,
50 million. Oh yeah.
the game.
This app is currently not available in your country or region. It looks like a cheap app. I mean, no offense, like it doesn't seem like the servers would be, but yeah, I don't know why they would make the Secret Service game after whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
so long after. Unless they were just bored. They had the prequel got postponed.
It looked interesting enough, but whatever. Didn't look like it would. It looked like you'd play it for a week and you'd be like, all right, that's enough. Like a prettier version of those old X-Men arcade games.
Ooh, I think we need to go fight somebody at the Chicago Tribune.
What do you mean?
Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune gave the film 1.5 stars, saying Kingsman: The Golden Circle offers everything. Several bored Oscar winners, two scenes featuring a death by meat grinder, Elton John mugging up close. Expect a good time.
Hey, I agree. There's a lot of Elton John. I don't know how you cut it down without losing something integral to the story, but like Matthew Vaughn, I'm used to the criticisms. uh,
um, Matthew Vaughn, I think overall does a really good job with his movies of staying consistent and pulling things through movies and pulling themes through, which is pretty nice. And even very subtle things like you mentioned with the what do you see, or what's going on.
Yeah.
So I mean, even pulling things through like that, um, pulling through the bar fight scene.
Yeah.
So I think he does a good job, stuff like that. So I can't imagine, you know,
My other
I
goal with Kingsmania would be to see the 3 hour and 20 minute cut, because that was the original cut. I think
the Matthew Vaughn cut.
no, yeah, he said it he feels like it played like this editor on this one in the first Kingsman movie is oh, why am I forgetting his name? He also edited the last three Mission Impossible movies, and he is very talented. He was on set for the both Kingsman movies. He actually, some of his contributions helped the shooting of things like the bar fight.
Hmm.
But why am I blanking? Um, how do I go around normal IMDb to see where the editor is? My God, I'm a mess. Who
Um,
edited Mission Impossible Fallout? Eddie Hamilton. Ooh, he
okay.
is so talented.
So part of the other marketing with this, they actually did a Kingsman Arthur crossover short film featuring Eggsy and Mr. Sterling Archer.
What?
Yeah,
Kingsman Sterling Archer
yeah. The TV,
crossover.
yeah, the TV show is called Archer. Yeah, Sterling Archer
Yeah,
is his
I've
name.
seen the first like 7 seasons.
Oh,
Holy moly.
such a good show. Not appropriate. It deserves to be on FX. Um, but man, it's a good show.
Yeah, if it's Bond, if they were just being honest. He
Yeah,
regularly
and
blacks out. He's he's
kind of a douche.
he sleeps with literally anyone that moves.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, he's
Yeah.
a dick.
I don't know how they grade sand, but coarse.
My favorite thing that's come out of uh Archer that's not an Archer thing was if anybody doesn't know, there's a running joke of like if donuts are on the ground, someone will yell like,
That's
"And
how you get
you
ants.
want ants? That's how you get ants." And the first teaser for Star Wars The Force Awakens was that downed Star Destroyer. And it just took a screenshot of that and then showed Archer. And it goes, "Do you want Jawas? Because that's how you get Jawas." And the best thing that came out of the Disney Star Wars trilogy. Don't tell Ryan.
DMing now. All right.
And I'll tell him myself. Like, I'm sorry, bro. But maybe Mandalorian's a close second.
That's right. Because I was giving him crap because I was watching the first three movies, movie 1, 2, and 3, and was telling him stuff like how the kid's a pedophile. I'm watching a pedophile.
He's trying to groom an adult to be a pedophile.
Yeah.
You should look up the cheesed editions for the original trilogy. It cuts out a lot of stupid stuff, takes all of Jar Jar's lines and dubs them over with an alien language and gives him subtitles, so he's not a racist stereotype idiot. And I've seen 20 minutes of it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I haven't seen that. I've seen the Family Guy.
Oh yeah, Blue Harvest.
Yeah. Something dark side. And so those are pretty funny. But
Yeah, but anything else for this one? Are you going to see The King's Man? And in what
yes.
format?
Um, I don't know if I'll see it in theaters as much as I love movie theater popcorn. Oh my god!
I think you'll love since you went to Saving Private Ryan, was it for your surround sound?
Yes,
I
that
think you'll love the war scene. They have the 1917.
esque.
Uh, aspect of it. But
Yeah, because I haven't played that yet because for Christmas I received a 5.1 surround sound and I knew I was getting it, so I went ahead and bought the Dolby Atmos speakers to make it a 5.1.2. So I've been trying out different things and I watched all of the I guess I didn't watch all of them. No, I watched the Two Towers and I watched Return of the King with it, which was really nice.
Damn, those scores are sick.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't make full use of all the surround sound speakers, which is fine. I mean that movie was back in the early 2000s, so I don't expect it to.
Before they
But
found out they could put in 48 frames per second.
yeah, the 4Ks look nice. The 4K, even some of the CGI parts, because I watched the extended versions because I'd never seen the extended versions. In fact, I've probably only seen Return of the King once before watching it this time. So I actually didn't even remember the full storyline of that movie.
The troll coming out in the extended version, when I saw that sequence, I was like, oh, that's why Guillermo del Toro is doing The Hobbit. This feels like Guillermo del Toro did this scene. And then he didn't.
I'll probably end up getting those because I actually have never seen those.
Which one's The Hobbit?
The Hobbit, never seen it.
Don't. I don't know. Get a Netflix subscription, the Netflix DVD subscription. Don't. I watched the first one and it's fine, but it's like, okay. And then the Desolation of Smaug, I'm just telling you because it pissed me the fuck off. The whole goddamn movie. I think the last hour is talking to Smaug in the gold cat okay, whatever. And then right at the end, he bursts out. So it's like, and then it cuts to credits, and you're like, wait, I've seen the animated one. I've read the book. I know that he goes after the town and they kill him. Wait, are you telling me we just spent 3 hours talking about the Desolation of Smaug, and the desolation isn't until the next movie? And not only that, but he's gonna die quick. So he's just the opening villain, like the disposable henchman James Bond guns down. Are you fucking kidding me? Have your third movie, but kill Smaug in this one. What? And then I heard the third one was a fucking mess. So I'm like, yeah, I wasn't gonna see it anyway.
Yeah. Haven't seen there's an animated. Haven't seen the animated. Haven't read the book.
The animated was fun, and I think probably more accurate. But
I mean, I can't read, so I mean that's a good start.
I think it'll play better marginally when you have them back to back and you don't have to wait 2 years or a year between them. But man.
So yes, I will see.
Disappointing.
I will see that movie. It's just whether or not I'll see it in theaters or wait until it comes out.
I'd recommend it in the theater.
Yeah.
It'll probably be cheaper than buying the Steelbook.
I'm just doing a quick thing. The Kingsman release date.
Yeah, it was a week ago. Yeah. Last week, Tuesday.
Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah. They're not saying that yet.
They haven't? Okay. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, I keep looking at the Kingsman Steelbook. It'll probably be at least like a month.
Yeah. Well, the reason because sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. The release date for Spider-Man is estimated at like March 23rd or something like that.
Yeah, they just haven't confirmed it.
Yeah, I mean it will. Ooh.
What?
The Germany Steelbooks look nice.
Right? If it would have played it on it, I don't know. I want the digital copy. I mean, yeah. We'll see. I love this as steelbook artwork by Wonga. That better be the studio that made the posters, because it's just a copy paste of the posters.
We're looking at the same
yeah,
same website, which is hilarious.
But anyway,
yeah. I mean, I want to see it. just because I like history. So I mean, seeing
Do
Rasputin was
Rasputin. Woo.
pretty sweet.
Don't get hung up. Anyone who goes to see the movie, don't get hung up on the big bad reveal because it's like it's fine, but like it's yeah, it's not it's not going to be Hitler. Hitler won't be like I'm the shepherd. It's like oh okay, cool. What
um, the King's Man beginning, is that the same thing?
do you mean?
The King's Man dash the beginning, because they're saying estimated release date is 6/24/21.
I send me a link in the Zoom call because I can't find anything on it. Damn, Rotten Tomatoes has that 43%. Well,
There was a thing that's saying that it did have bad reviews. I think it was when they first released it. I think it was like 5 point something on Rotten Tomatoes.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's still. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's as bad as what. Why would you paste? I don't think it'll be that bad.
Yeah, I agree with Dan Merle's review. If anyone wants to go on there, I think there's like some structural spoilers, but not too much. Um, but I pretty much nearly word for word agree with his review because I listened to it after I saw the movie, and his take is it's pretty close to mine. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. That's an Amazon.de. So where is that? Uh,
Uh,
what country?
Deutschland.
Amazon.de. Germany. Yep. So that may have been just
Yeah.
that country's subtitle, kind of like how in China it's Fast and Furious Sky Mission.
Which is way better than F9.
Oh my god! Oh, that was for F7. Just
What?
literally just because I think it was like Space Adventure or something.
Oh,
But what is the Chinese title for F9? But literally just because they're parachuting the cars out, they called it Sky Mission.
because
Wow,
I'm
this is really helpful. It showed the name in Chinese lettering when I searched for it. I don't know.
um because I can't wait to go to Ryan and be like, hey, I'm gonna go watch Fast and Furious Sky Mission later on tonight.
Oh wait, I think it's the Japanese titles, not Chinese. So, all right, we're gonna wrap up really quick, but just because we teased it, the Fast and the Furious is called Wild Speed. Too Fast, Too Furious is Wild Speed X2. Fast Furious Tokyo Drift is Wild Speed X3 Tokyo Drift. Fast and Furious is Wild Speed Max. Fast 5 is Wild Speed Mega Max. Fast and Furious 6 is Wild Speed Euro Mission. Furious 7 is Wild Speed Sky Mission. The Fate of the Furious is Wild Speed Ice Break. What? This one? Oh, okay. Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw is Wild Speed Super Combo. And then, oh, this is disappointing.
Jet
F9
break.
is Wild Speed. Jet Break. I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah. I mean, I happened to see it. That was it.
But yeah.
That is hilarious. I love that. I have no idea how much I love that right now, but I love it.
I don't understand Jet Break. I mean, I guess. It's not
There's a jet. There, yeah, it's not a jet, but that's fine. So the Japanese name for the Kingsman Golden Circle would be Kingsman Drugs Are Us.
Japanese name titles for Kingsman movies. Oh, by the way, they've changed it from a Statesman spinoff to potentially. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. It's still the same titles. For the the Statesman spinoff would be a Loki-esque TV show. Not Loki in the vibe, but in the budget. Matthew Vaughn said he liked Loki and he was impressed by the scale they did. So if he did a Statesman spinoff, he would want to do TV.
I think a Statesman's spin-off Statesman TV show would go pretty well.
He's scared of it though, because he's so not used to making television. And I'm like, excellent. Be scared. Do the thing that I know that artists like you love to do what scares them because it means it's something new. Um, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be if they were going to do if they were going to do a spinoff, a Statesman spinoff, I'd want it to be a TV show. I think it would fit better. I think it would work better. And that way you don't have to clog down your movie budgeting and movie for the Statesman, because I think the Statesmen are great. I think that they work out fine. I think they work well for this movie, but I don't think long term that's where you want to be. I think long term you want to stay with Europe. You want to stay with England. You want to stay with the Kingsman that the franchise that you built, not the spinoff.
You know what just got me excited? I was gonna say the next Kingsman-esque movie you should look out for is Argyle, because it's a spy movie by Matthew Vaughn. He just finished shooting it. It's sold to Apple TV for $200 million. You should check that out. But if Disney passes, I mean, Apple TV Plus just spent $200 million on Statesman or a Kingsman. I assume a Kingsman-esque spy film. They might totally be like, "Yo, 100 million only for Kingsman 3." Buddy.
Yeah,
Like,
hey,
Argyle just hit like a motherfucker. We could advertise this. We don't have, in our app, push people to it. We don't have to put it in theaters and stuff. I mean, it's implied that they're going to put Argyle in theaters for a bit, but he said Argyle is a different kind of film, so it would require a different type of release, which I don't know what that means, but I'm excited. I'm still going to watch on Apple TV Plus though, if I can.
Yeah,
it's the same day. But hey, he might have a home at Apple TV Plus,
and it might push more people to see the Kingsman, and it might push more people to spy franchises in general. So that might mean positive things moving forward in the future.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I've said Apple TV Plus has my money every year because of Ted Lasso. They got me. If they after season 3, if they release a steelbook set of the whole series and price it $300, I'll just be like, ha, 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 you fools! I would have given you that over the next 5 years and longer. You've lost money. And I would buy it and I'd cancel my Apple TV Plus subscription.
I just, unfortunately, I cannot see that series going longer than 3, maybe 4 seasons.
Oh no, they've planned on stopping it at 3 seasons.
Okay, good, because I
don't care where he'd go as long as the same team was there. I'd be like, keep giving me the goods, daddy.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden he's like coaching lacrosse or field hockey.
Hey, coach lacrosse in Japan. I don't care. We need to make our predictions for that bingo card that we're going to make, because I got some wild predictions. I'll give you one for free. It's all a dream.
That would be pretty wild.
I thought of that when hearing that both traumas as children was on the same day and presumably the same year for 2 different main characters who didn't know each other before the show started. Coincidence? I think so.
I'm gonna say that there's going to be one major wedding in the 3rd season, whether it be Keely and Roy, or
don't say the other couple.
Yeah,
that's a mystery. I know who you're talking about
though. That couple, whether it be that couple or whether it be just the female out of that couple with somebody else.
Ooh,
just as like
that would feel real. I wouldn't be surprised if the show went that way, but that would make me sad.
And she does it for the right reason, the right reason, but the wrong. We can
spoil the female.
Yes,
I think. You want to spoil it because the mystery was the man.
Okay, the team owner.
Okay.
Yeah,
I won't. That would feel so real. It would be too real. I'd be like,
she marries the wrong person for the right reason. To save the team, or to.
Oh no, I would hate that. That would make it even worse. I hate you. You're in the writer's room. Oh, gross. Oh man, that's so unsettling. Oh
Yeah,
no. Oh, don't do that to Rebecca.
I couldn't remember her name
Oh,
off the top of my head. I could see her face. I could see
oh,
her in Game of Thrones. I just could not remember her name.
shame.
Yep.
Make the most basic reference again. All right. Okay, Kingsman. we've,
Okay,
we've been chit chatting at the end of this. Kingsman, check out the Kingsman, please.
please.
Uh, and next year, I think we might just do it all in one go. Maybe I don't know. We're gonna start doing marbles to choose what the movies are that we review that are not
So,
like regular ones.
so if you have any underappreciated movies or movies that are underappreciated now or underappreciated when they came out, hit us up. Instagram.
You can put it on Instagram. You can also go to Spotify, which when they fix this weird bug that takes it off of a certain of actual anchor, uh, I'll start posting them as video podcasts. But there's this weird bug where it literally takes it off Anchor, the podcast platform where I publish these from, not only for the audience, but for me to look at as analytics in the app. It's the weirdest, dumbest bug. Makes no sense to me. And I'm like, it doesn't tell me if someone listens from the Anchor app. So I don't want one person to be like, what? Where's my episode? I don't want to do that to them. So once they fix that, we're going to switch it over to video podcasts, which are only on Spotify, but also on Spotify, you can actually like there's polls and questions. So every episode, I'm asking, what is your most underrated film? So you can type that in, kind of like a YouTube channel. But
Nice.
yeah,
Way to go, Spotify.
there goes Spotify. But yeah, other than that, this movie may have been a
Joint.
mushroom snorting
No.
Molly
Mushroom joint. Nope. Edible joint.
edible joint.
I
Okay,
was one
if you
too
want to
high.
do a mushroom joint, that's fine.
that that'd be like an A.
A minus minus.
Would not work.
But either way, this movie was
Was dope.
dope because movies are dope. See you in the next one, Kingsman. And should have timed that better.